Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Delgado and I'm a second-year student at the Medical College of Georgia at Augusta University in Augusta, Georgia. And I'm very excited to be sharing today our first COVID-19 update of our YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start by jumping to the COVID numbers in Georgia today, where we notice that the death rate is continuing to decline. However, over the past several days, we've also noticed that there has been an increase in the number of cases in Georgia. Specific to Richmond County, we've seen an incidence of about 400 cases per 100,000 people over the past 2 weeks. On November 9th, Richmond County saw the highest number of cases in a single day since late August, with 72 cases. As we continue into the flu season, it's extremely important to continue hand washing as well as social distancing to ensure our health and safety. This becomes incredibly important as many of us will be traveling to visit friends and family during the holidays. We want to make sure that we're doing that safely and responsibly. As a whole in the United States, we have seen an increase in our numbers with about 2 million cases over the past week alone. States in the West as well as the Midwest have seen the greatest increase in the numbers, and many local governments have begun to reimpose curfews that they had set at the beginning of the pandemic. On a global scale, we notice that the cases in Europe have increased and surpassed that of the United States, and many European countries have seen over 1 million cases now. Many of those countries are beginning to reimpose several of their restrictions as well. We're now going to jump into some of the news that we have at a national scale, state scale, and local scale. So early this morning, we'll begin with this case here on the left. AstraZeneca announced that their vaccine is highly effective, and similar announcements were made by both Pfizer and Moderna recently. The vaccine that was developed by AstraZeneca was developed in a partnership with Oxford University in the United Kingdom, and they claim to have about a 70% average rate of effectiveness, with 90% with the first dose and 62% with the second dose, leading to that average of about 70%. Next, we'll continue on to our state story for today, with Governor Brian Kemp, who recently signed an executive order extending many of the COVID-19 protocols that we had in place all the way to the end of the month. And so now we know that we have social distancing driven implications for both businesses, gatherings, as well as long-term elderly care facilities. Specifically, the order that Brian Kemp had extended enforces that there will not be gatherings of greater than 50 people in the state of Georgia, and it also continues to make mask wearing voluntary. That being said, as long as local requirements do not apply to businesses as well as residencies, cities and counties do have the authority to impose their own mask mandates. Finally, we'll jump down to our local story for today, as Richmond County School Superintendent Kenneth Bradshaw recently released an increase in the COVID-19 activity in the school system central office. He made this announcement recently during a news conference. He noted that the schools will be participating in distance learning, and they did that last week. This week, they'll be taking off their Thanksgiving break, and they hope to reschedule their in-person classes starting next Monday, November 30th. This about wraps up our news stories for today. But on our updates, we always like to end with some good news to put us in a good set of mind. So here I bring to you, since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Golden Harvest Food Bank organizers have reported, unfortunately, a 40% increase in food insecurity. That being said, many volunteers in the CSRA have risen to the occasion to combat this. And this past Saturday alone, volunteers distributed over 30,000 pounds of food to people in need during a contact-free mobile market in Grovetown. This was enough to feed over 800 families, and the distribution was sponsored by a virus relief grant from Bank of America. So hopefully that puts you all in a good set of mind going into your Monday as well as your week. Here are our references that we used today for the update, and thank you all so much again for your time, and hopefully we'll see you next week for our next update. Stay safe and take care until then.